up, beautiful souls? It's Dr. Lee here, and I'm actually super excited to invite you to what for me has been the safest, most consistent, most powerful way to connect with your multi-dimensional self in a safe retreat setting. I'm telling you guys, the ceremonies are getting more and more powerful. People are being liberated. Souls are starting to remember who they are. Families are being healed. And this is one of my greatest joys to offer this to whoever feels called. It's a sacred contract that I call the Heart Protocol. It's a 4 to 6 hour ceremonial experience in a retreat setting where you can connect to your higher self and you can record it into a recording if you decide to speak, and bring back a multi-dimensional soul transcript which can help catalyze you onto a higher timeline, into a higher frequency, and ultimately a higher destiny. For those who feel the call, check out www.transcendencementalhealth.com and click Begin Your Journey to schedule a free 15-minute call to see if you are a good fit for the Heart Protocol. Unite an army of love, create heaven on earth. If you feel the call, would love to see you at an upcoming retreat. Peace. What's up, beautiful souls? Welcome to another episode of the Spiritual Psychiatrist podcast. And today we have a special guest, Miss Malin, all the way on the other side of the sea. And, you know, it was beautiful because I saw one of her posts and she was talking about her awakening. And it kind of resonated really deeply with me because she was very authentic when in this particular video where she was talking about her Kundalini awakening. And so I reached out to her, and it's a joy to have on Miss Malin Andersson. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I actually started following you around the time of my awakening because I needed navigation. So it's so interesting how our paths have crossed now, right? And you've seen a video of mine. That's just crazy.
Yeah, it's amazing. Love connects everything for sure. Yeah, so talk to me a little bit, Malin, because you know, I was kind of doing a little bit of research, and I was like, damn, you've had many, many, many lives in this life, and you just woke up and you've been on the Love Island in the past on TV and all this other stuff, right? And so tell us a little bit about Malin, like, you know, your hero's journey, because I'm a firm believer, like you reach a certain point in your life where you look back and you're like, yo, every single thing I went through was kind of like preparing me for my hero's journey for what's to come. You know what I mean? So drop us a little bit of
Yeah.
the highlight reels.
Yeah, right. Highlight reel because it's quite long. I don't know where to start. So yeah, I was born in Sweden and I moved to England when I was around 2, 3 years old when my dad passed away. So we all moved over to England and had an okay childhood. There was a lot of trauma involved in my childhood, but basically, cut it short, there was a big mother wound, father wound, and then my mum passed away with cancer about 7 years ago, and I'd just gone on Love Island. I'd come out, and I had a partial kind of awakening when my mum died, and then I soon after entered a really abusive relationship, fell pregnant, had my daughter. She passed away as well quite soon after, and then I just embarked on this really strange journey with addiction and like binge drinking. Then I stayed sober. This is a really short story. I stayed sober and came off antidepressants. And within a few days, I had a Kundalini awakening, and it was a spontaneous one. And it was pretty crazy. That's a
How long
really
ago?
short story.
That was the highlight reel for sure, but there's so much in there. So much that can help so many people in there because you just nonchalantly just mentioned like, yeah, you know, my mom got cancer. Yeah, I came off antidepressants. Yeah, I quit binge drinking. Yeah, I quit, you know, but those are, you know, as a psychiatrist, it's not easy to do that.
No.
So you must have some type of like, you know, grit, some type of resilience, some type of willpower or something guiding you. So talk to us a little bit about that process of awakening, you know, for every girl out there who might be on antidepressants, who might be, you know, going through it right now.
Yeah, it's weird because I struggled with eating disorders my whole teens. Obviously, I've been in the public eye. I was in beauty pageants. I did Miss England, Miss Sweden, and then I did TV shows, and I've been in the media, and I've struggled with my body image and eating disorders and addiction. Like even with shopping, like, it wasn't just cocaine and alcohol on the weekends. It would never be every day, but I seem to have had it. I always had an addiction to something outside of myself. And it wasn't until my awakening I understood that it was to do with all of these wounds within me, because I thought I wasn't complete, yet the whole time I was always complete, right? And so I stayed sober for literally like a few weeks, and I started meditating, and I was only meditating for like a few minutes. This is right at the
Mm,
beginning, right? And that bit of meditation, that 2 minutes of meditation, entered space for me to have a Kundalini awakening. It was around 2 in the morning. I was co-sleeping with my little one, as I do, and it was just this huge electric, fiery bolt. I can't even describe it, of energy that came through my head first, down to my feet, and then back up again. And I thought it was sleep paralysis, and it wasn't. And the next day, I was like, "Was that a dream? What just happened?" And I've always been quite spiritual, the crystals and the there's more to life, and
mhm,
let's manifest and create a vision board, and that kind of the basic
mhm,
shit. People think it's outside of themselves still, right? And so I was sat on the toilet, and I looked at the shower head, and I was like, that's made out of plastic. I was just looking around, and I was looking for natural things. I was like, the plant's real. And I was like, why am I even thinking like this? And then I was like, oh no, what am I thinking? Something clicked in my head, and I couldn't understand it. I had to sleep for the rest of that day because I was too scared of myself.
mm,
I went on Reddit. I was just on Reddit and on Google, like, what's this? What does this mean? Electric free body. And then it was telling me, um, a lot of that stuff is censored, right? So I was trying to find information. Then I went on TikTok. And then the weeks to come, the energy would just come up through different chakras, and dreams were wild. Meditation got stronger. I'd be on about 2 hours of meditation a day. Clothes changed, appearance changed, eating habits changed, my whole life changed, friends changed. Basically, I just became someone completely different.
mm,
And then, most recently, probably around a month ago, it opened up my third eye to its maximum. Like, I don't know if there is a maximum capacity, but to a point where, like, it's just another level. Conversations are coming through where I'm doing my food shop for other people. I'm getting these visions that are so prominent, but they're future visions, maybe on a different timeline to what's going on now. I don't know, but I'm getting premonitions of me and things that have occurred already. So much has been happening, but the universe will always give you what you can handle at the time. And I'm going to just quickly add in, like, because I was clearing out the bottom, the lower chakras, because that was the worst for me, right? I was too busy when I had my awakening living up here and being like, oh my God, no one understands. I'm so lonely. No one gets it. And when my heart opened fully, I understood the balance between being in this physical world and being in touch with my highest self and the other realms, right? And now I've kind of mastered it. I'm in the living in the heart space, and I'm like, everything's cool now. I'm finally in fucking balance. But
mm.
there was some wookie times where I was like this, what's going on? So yeah, that's been my journey up to date.
Fuck yeah. Yeah. So this is great. Because you know, we don't learn. Nobody teaches us. In elementary school, our parents don't teach us. Society doesn't teach us. Nobody teaches us that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. And at the bottom of the spine, all ancient books talk about this. You look at the Hindu books, you look at the Indian books, you look at Tibetan books, call it what you want, but there is the first eight primal cells. And in those first eight primal cells are the Kundalini energy, which is literally dimensions 1 through 9. And this is why the Caduceus has the spine is the throne of God. And whether it happens spontaneously, Malin was on these medications before she had her Kundalini awakening. And these psychiatric medications, literally, they're using like, Prozac, Paxil, Lexapro, Cymbalta, SNRI or SSRI. There's not one study on the entire fucking planet that proves that these medications actually treat the root cause. Not one. And so Big Pharma is sponsoring this. And then so what these medications do is they numb you. So yes, the symptoms kind of improve a little bit. The frontal lobe, the seat of judgment, gets a little numb, but also about 60-70% of the time, it literally shuts down the second energy center, which is the sacral chakra.
I was just,
Therefore, yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Talk to us a little bit about that, Malin. Yeah.
No, it only made sense. I was talking to someone and they were on fluoxetine, and I was like, don't go on that, man. And then, because I've obviously been working with my own chakras and understanding that the creative life force, the sacral energy is like so important. I was like, thinking, I was like, I wonder why they do that. Why do they need to shut that part down in order to? It's interesting. What you know what I mean? Hmm.
Yeah, and let's dig deeper into this, right? Because it's the most powerful creative force on the planet,
Yeah.
right? And if you can distort that energy and if you can shut it down, that energy is neither created nor destroyed. Where is that energy going, right? And so, without getting too deep into it, yeah, they don't want people to be in their creative power. You know what I mean? And so you're probably like an expert on this because like you've been through all of these different things, and then you had your awakening, and you were on the Love Island, which is a TV show. So talk to us a little bit, Malin, about that experience, about being on Love Island and TV, and then after kind of looking back after your awakening and like how is all that? Because I mean, there's all these, and I could be wrong, right? But in England and London and the tabloids and the paparazzi and all the TV and it's a big thing, yeah?
Yeah, it is huge here. I think celeb culture is so shit. It's so sad. But I was young, right? So we're talking 7 years ago, and growing up in my mum's kind of wants, and she wanted me to be famous. She wanted me to make something of my life because she was brought up in poverty. She didn't have that. She had nothing, right, from Sri Lanka, and she struggled. And she was like, Malin, come on, do really well, do really well. And so I went on Love Island. It was so fixed. It was so set up. You come out and suddenly you're thrust in the limelight. You're fighting to be seen. You add in the trauma to the mix and the low self-worth, and it's just a fighting, chasing this like never-ending battle of just validation. And it's like
Mm,
you're trying to be seen, go to these events, trying to you lack purpose. You don't know what your purpose is. And if my mum didn't die a year after the show, I wouldn't be where I am now. My mum had to go for my soul to evolve. And I'll never forget it.
mm,
25th of November, 2:05 in the morning. I was 25 years old. That was so prominent because I had a bit of an awakening. And then obviously I had more lessons to learn until this full on Kundalini. But I see it happening, and everyone is being spun off this show and they're being turned into something, and people are applying for it and they're becoming an influencer. Like everyone wants to just be famous now or be something online. And you lose track of who you really are and you become further away from yourself. So I went for all of this, and then I just used my platform to talk about the traumas that I'd gone through instead, and that was what my calling was to use my voice and to speak. And I'm so glad that I found that. But a lot of people don't. They think they have to be something other people want them to be: advertising clothes, beauty products, makeup artists. Everyone becomes sheep in this industry, and it's so fake. Like, I went to the National Television Awards a few months ago, and this is post awakening, right? And I'm like looking around me like, oh, everyone's just stuck. This is all some dark shit here. Why have
mm.
I been invited? And so I was just there to kind of just be that little beam of light. I just did my thing, and I left early. I couldn't even sit through it. I was like, fuck this shit. I got a taxi home really early. It makes me feel sick, right? and and you just see things for what they are. But now I guess I kind of use this platform to my advantage so I can spread that knowledge and awareness. But then do you know what, Sam? I'll kind of bring it back to like everything is temporary. We only have this one life, right? And it's just to be present and to just be happy. So I don't fear anything anymore. There no fear lives inside me. And when I look back to my old self, everything was just fear based, complete fear. Now I'm just cruising through life, just laughing at everything. Even when people talk about, you don't know about Hollywood and all of that, I'm like, I don't fear any. I don't fear shit. Don't, there's
Hmm.
nothing, there's no point being fearful about something else. There are all these rabbit holes. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because it's a beautiful thing because you've been there, done that. And so when you've been through it, you've overcome it, then you have the keys to the consciousness to be able to look at it like you were at this TV award show and then to laugh at it and say, fuck this, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You know what I mean? And
Bad. I can't believe I did that, but
yeah, and that's the beauty of waking up is you're able to see through the illusion of what's there. But like, the truth be told though, there's a lot of little girls and boys out there caught in the system right now, striving to, programmed to I gotta be famous, driven by fear, like more and more. And the truth is, you just said it. It never fulfills you. It never satisfies you. No matter how much money you make, no matter how much celebrity you have, this drive and if fear is driving that, lack creates more lack. It's just an
yeah.
energetic, vibrational thing. And so you obviously took some steps to somehow, not everybody does, to get out of the system and wake up. What message do you have for, maybe a little girl in London right now who's caught in the hamster wheel, who's doing her thing. And she saw you on Love Island and she's like, "Yo,
I would say do what makes your creative like light fire, like whatever creative skill or talent you possess, use that and turn it into art, man. Like for me, I've
mm,
always been creative and I love drawing and stuff and writing and speaking and that's my creative outlet. And I would just say follow what you truly desire, not what you think other people need you to be. But the only way to find that is to go within. And because we are taught everything is outside of ourselves, it's almost impossible for people nowadays. It is impossible due to the system that has been designed. It is literally like, it's like unless you have, I don't know, the best people around you and the tools, you're fucked. Like
mm,
for real. Everyone's in survival mode and it's so sad to see.
mm. Yes, I love that advice. Go within. So what are some of the ways or some of the tools that helped you go within? Because you were in it. You were in it. How did you do it?
To me, the biggest tools, the number one tool is meditation without fail. I don't care what anyone says. The thing that will allow you to create space is to sit with yourself in silence in meditation, to give yourself that exclusivity of just being with yourself. Nothing, no distractions, nothing. And just sitting with your mind and not running away from it. That was my number one healing thing for me. And then
Mm,
next up would be journaling and then any kind of somatic release, so stuck energy in the body, expelling emotion, whether it's screaming, shouting, talking out loud, exercise, Kundalini activation, somatic movement, dancing, anything that gets that stuck energy within you out of your body. Because I need to ask you this, Samuel, like I've had a Kundalini activation and my body moves on. I can do it now, like it will just move on demand, right? Where when I was at the gym
mm,
and I was lifting too heavy earlier, you'll laugh at this, I started going like this,
mm.
and I'm like, what's going on? And I was like, everyone's looking at me. But if someone hasn't
Yeah,
had access to that, then how do they release that stuck energy in their body? Because mine's doing it for me constantly. Like a dog, when they shake, when you stroke them, that's what my body does, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's actually a really good point. Like we, first of all, we are nature. Okay, we're not, like separate from nature. We are part of nature. And in nature, actually, the only animals in all of nature that are traumatized are pets that live with humans.
Oh
Dogs,
my God.
right? Yeah, that's it. Every other single part of nature, actually, they do exactly what you just said. Like, for example, like in Africa, the Sahara, like let's just say a zebra is being chased by a lion or whatever, right? The sympathetic nervous system fires, they're in danger, right? They're running, they're running, they're running. And let's just say they escape, right? The first thing that they do is they start shaking and they release the energy back to the earth. And within 2, 3 minutes, doot, 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 they're right back to normal, as if it never happened. And so the body keeps the score,
Mm.
and this is what you just said is so important because the trauma, like for example, when we were young, and I know you were saying in your earlier years, the father wound, the mother wound, guess where it lives?
Mm.
It lives inside of us. It's a polarized frequency. It's a voice saying you're not good enough. And that little boy inside gets into this cycle because of that voice of polarized. It's polarized, which means that it thinks it needs something outside of itself.
Yeah.
It needs more money. It needs to be famous to receive the love that it didn't receive from the father or the mother for being just being.
Yeah.
And it chases this endless cycle. And some of the most, I used to live in Hollywood and, a psychiatrist in West LA, some of the richest Hollywood stars. Doesn't matter how much you achieve. It's an endless cycle. It's a polarized frequency, a never-ending cycle. You can be a billionaire and have all the cars and have everything and commit suicide because it's
Yeah.
like there's no, is this it? And what Malin is saying is stop, go within and sit with yourself and meditate. And in that meditation, when that thought comes, I'm not good enough, I need more. The belief in lack is the root cause of suffering. When you wrap it in, it's an energy. So when you wrap it in awareness, loving awareness, and you let it go and you come back to your breath, you're slowly, slowly starting to release the polarized frequency, the trauma, that lives inside. And Malin was saying it's really important to express. Authentic expression is the resurrection. And I love what she said to that little girl in London town right now who might be listening. You know what I mean? Go within, express yourself, find that creative spark, whatever that is. And express that. The art, A-R-T, is in the heart. Have the courage to express that because that's a healthy release, right? Write that song, paint that picture, and share it. Have the courage to share it. And so, yeah, and like there's breath work, right? So it's all energy. It's just energy. Trauma is low frequency energy. At that award show, it was low frequency energy. And it's not bad or good. We're not condemning anything. We're not
Mm.
judging anybody. But here's the truth. And this is why, I was really resonated with when Malin was sharing on her pod about her awakening. I was like, oh, fuck, the world needs to know. Yo, like at the bottom of the spine, there's a multi-dimensional frequency, dimensions 1 through 9, called the Kundalini energy. It's the greatest lie ever told to humanity is that we are third dimensional. We 3D, physical, emotional, mental, 3D. That's it. And it's a cycle of being stuck in 3D, 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 3D. No, but we are multi-dimensional. There's a 4D, a 5D, a 6D, which is the soul. You have a soul, and in the bottom of your spine, look within, there is dimensions 1 through 9, and you can force it up if you want. And if there's a chakra, the energy centers, it's like the throne of God, the spine. A lot of trauma lives in the spine, but if you can raise it and the energy moves up, it can go up the spine and tickle your third eye, which is the pineal gland. And Jesus said, if your eye is full of light, your whole body will have sight. And so if you activate that, there's little crystals in there that you can start activating. You become a receptor, an antenna to the whole universe. And that's why they say the universe lives inside of you and
Yeah.
you are multidimensional. And so and this is the truth, and the truth will set you free. And so a lot of times in psychiatrists we're not trained about this shit. And so when someone like Malin comes to the psychiatrist because like, doc, I don't know what the fuck's going on, I'm hearing shit, I'm seeing shit, like everything seems fake, they don't know what to do.
No.
They haven't been trained. So guess what psychiatrists do right now? They put our children on mind-numbing medications when they're actually having a spiritual awakening, and it numbs them so that they can function in a sick society rather than optimizing and entering into their multidimensional experience. And so, Malin, you must be a beast because somehow when your Kundalini rose, you were able to navigate this space with grace and somehow not go psychotic and somehow be able to stabilize. And that must talk to us about that experience.
Well, I mean, there was a point, right? about 3 months in, where the consciousness was rising, the third eye was starting to open, and I stepped out and I went for a run, and my vision had altered. Everything was just green, like I had some like camera, some
Mm,
Canon camera, and I was looking out and I was like, and I came back and I was like,
mm.
what's happening? And then I was looking at people in shops and they looked like they were stuck on in the shop. People are walking around, but they're
Mm,
just like stuck on a picture. It's hard to explain what I mean. And I'm thinking, fuck, what is this? Everything, nothing seems real. It's like a
mm.
holographic simulation. That's the only way I can put it. And it kept getting more and more and more. No amount of grounding fucking worked. Nothing, none of that. Like, go step in the grass. No way, it didn't help. And then, so I just had to continuously just keep working on myself. And I kept telling myself, all is fine. I had a good therapist called Jay. He went through a Kundalini awakening himself. If I didn't have him, I would have thought I was going psycho. Because when my third eye started to open and I would hear voices, that would have been game over for me, like old me, right? That's just, but I was ready to handle it. And so if I didn't have the right guidance around me, it would have just been put back on medication and I would have been suppressed and probably ended up killing myself. So this is how serious this is. And it's interesting because when I had the huge heart opener, right, where I understood how the balance was key. The center of us is key because we can't be too much up
Mm.
here or too much down there because we have to be physically here. I then understood that I had this like download or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, I'm so whole. Everything's fine. I'm just in Marlin's body for this lifetime. Let's just have fun. That's what I got. And I was like, oh my God, I'm in Marlin's body. Like, the fuck? So that's just the way
Mhm.
I've been living. I'm just like, weesh. And also when people say about, oh, I don't like hanging out with her because she's negative energy or that's bad energy. And I used to be like sage queen, right? And then I was like, no, nothing can hurt me. No energy is bad energy. The energy is only bad energy if there's a wound in me allowing that energy in. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So like I really got to this place where I feel like just like, woof, cool. Which I didn't. It's taken me about a year though. It's been in full force, rapid healing.
What's up, beautiful souls? I want to shout out to the sponsor of this podcast, Practical Peptides, www.practicalpeptides.com. Unless you're living under a rock, you might have heard that there is this thing called peptides, the magic of peptides. And so they're amino acid chain proteins which help signal to the body, which can start activating like a light switch different systems in your body. And we're having amazing results. Now, you may have heard there's positive and negatives to everything, but there's certain people who are having certain side effects. And what our team has found is it's because most doctors are prescribing too large of a dose. But when you dose and you titrate up at the right dose, we're finding that people are having really positive effects. So some of our best sellers include GLP-1 agonists like tirzepatide, semaglutide, and people at the right dose, when they use the right small dose and they're titrating up, they're literally not only losing approximately 15% of their body weight over time, they're increasing their self-esteem. It's helping people reverse their diabetes, blood sugar. And the cool news is that you can schedule a call with Danielle, who's a peptide expert on our team, who can help decide if it's right for you, also what the right dose is. And the cool thing about Practical Peptides is our team has spent so much time and love and energy. So it's really easy. You just go to practicalpeptides.com, you search for the product that's right for you. One of my favorites is NAD, intramuscular NAD. If you guys don't know, NAD is reversing brain inflammation, helping the gut heal. And not only that, for me, it gives me clean energy every morning when I take it. So NAD is on there from a pure. And the cool thing about Practical Peptides is it's straight from the pharmacy. It's compound grade pharmacy, pure material. And you can order it directly online. And it's delivered straight to your house. And you're getting everything that you need is included in the package, so you can start using it straight out of the box. And we give you educational materials. So some of these peptide companies that are research based, you don't know what's in the product. They're not giving you the educational material. We're giving you you don't have to mix it and compound. It's right there. And so if that's something that appeals to you, check out www.practicalpeptides.com. Use the code Dr. Lee for 10% off. There's peptides that can help you get ripped and shredded. There's peptides that can help you repair your body from injury. So check it out, www.practicalpeptides.com. Love that. And so, the initial process was a little bit, you can feel like you're going psycho, but she had a mentor, and that's what it is. She had somebody who's been through it, Jay, I guess,
Yeah.
a therapist, a friend. And that's the key, because like in third world countries, when these kids start hearing voices and they start, whatever, in Western psychiatry, currently our system literally calls them, oh, you're having hallucinations. Here, take this antipsychotic, which will literally cause side effects, which will make you into a zombie, and you'll start slobbering and have side effects, and then we'll give you more antipsychotics, and then literally you'll end up in a hospital where you'll get more trauma. And but in third world countries, they actually realize, oh shit, this child has a gift with the invisible world. And if they have a mentor who doesn't condemn them, who's been through it, who can guide them through it, and say that you're not crazy, you're going through a spiritual awakening, and a community that doesn't outcast them and label them, and but embraces them, if they can navigate through it, literally they come out on the other side, like Malin's coming out on the other side, and they become, if you want to call it, the local town shaman or healer, because they understand how to navigate the invisible world, and everything that they've been through, they have the keys to the consciousness to now help. And I love where Malin's landing with all of this is, like, first of all, she 1, 2, 3 chakra, which is the lower, is like the animal, the survival, the I need more, right? And then there's the higher chakras, and it's not good or bad. There's 5, 6, 7, the throat, the pineal gland, the crown. But she's where heaven meets earth. To be in this body, what she's talking about is she found her heart, the center.
Got goosebumps.
Yeah, green chakra, right? She's found her center, and she's stabilizing in the heart, and she's realizing, actually, nah, nobody has control over me when I'm in my heart and when I'm balanced. It's like I'm just, and then I love the conclusion she's coming to right now, which is like, have fun. I got Malin's body for this lifetime. Be present and have fun and enjoy this amazing dance on
Yeah.
earth. And by doing that, and just by being herself, she's going to help a shit ton of people just by being herself and being authentic to herself and being centered in herself. And that is the service. You don't really have to really do anything. It's about having fun and being you. Once you wake up and you realize, oh, we are in a simulation. It's not that serious. Death is not real. It's all energy. And you know what? I am who I've been looking for, and I can co-create anything that I want,
Yeah.
right? And you understand the rules of the game, and you realize love is the answer. And I am love just by being me. I'm just love. You know what I mean? And then it comes back to what Malin said, which I love. This is how the question is, how can I utilize my creative gifts? What sparks me to somehow create shit and share it with people, right? Create cool shit. And I think that is the key, because that's what Source wanted, to experience co-creation through you, through me, through we.
So the worst part of this whole procedure sounds like a medical procedure. The
Yeah.
rebirth was where I think people get stuck in being too much in their spiritual ego, where they feel separated from other people because they think people don't understand them. So if it wasn't for me to come back to my heart, and I can hang around with anyone now, and there's no judgment, and I just look at the smile and the joy in their face, and they could be a random woman shopping in Tesco's, right? But old me, like a few months ago, would have been like, oh, she's like 3D low vibrational. Do you know what I mean? And some people seem to get stuck there, and they don't get past that whole U-turn of the awakening. Do you know what,
Mm,
when I say that?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, so that, and that's beautiful, because like Malin's going through the stages of awakening, right? So she had the awakening, the Kundalini rose, and she was like, "Oh shit, it's all simulation." And then she had to, like, get help from a friend who was telling her, like, "Yo, like, nah, this is a spiritual awakening," right? And then probably through her grit and resilience that she developed through all that shit of going through, you know, all the things she went through, she was able to somehow
Mm.
stabilize and find her heart. And then there is this cycle that she's talking about where spiritual people get lost. A lot of spiritual people, quote unquote spiritual,
Mm.
get lost in this thing of like, oh, you know, frequency, it's all my vibe, don't ruin my vibe, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like, yo, like, you know, and they get like this spiritual ego. But it's crazy how Malin has actually gone through all of these stages so quickly, because usually people get locked in that spiritual ego stage for like a good bit, a
Yeah.
good amount
Why?
of time.
It's happened so
Yeah.
quickly to me. I don't know, but I think I'm so aware and I want to just hurry this process up, but like in my own way of meditation and doing it. But I seem to have got the answers quite quickly because I'm open, right? But
Mm,
it has been quite hectic, like a year of just bam, 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 bam,
yeah,
bam.
absolutely, yeah.
But
Yeah, and
what's
it's
the average time for an awakening? What's the average length, you know?
yeah, it feels to me like you are on the rapid path. Like your guides, your higher self is literally putting you on the rapid path. And, you know, like my intuition is like, you know what? Like back in the day, like everything you've been through in a year probably would have taken like 20 years. Yeah, because people literally get stuck in these stages for a long, but you're literally just woke up, you received your intuitive gifts, and then you found your heart, and then you stabilized it, and now you can be around any energy that you want. You've developed healthy boundaries. When you go to these award shows, you're like, fuck, this is not my vibe. Fuck this shit, I'm out, right? And so you've developed healthy boundaries, and now you're all about have fun, enjoy being this body, and spark, and then like just like create shit, right? So like you went full circle in a year. For a lot of people, it takes them decades to come full circle to where you're at. You know what I mean?
Wow.
So you are definitely on the rapid path, which is cool for this pod because it's like, yo, there's stages to this,
Mm.
and you've literally been through all the stages where it's like, yo, like, you know, caught in the rat race, awakening, and then finding your heart, stabilizing, and then developing healthy boundaries, and then coming back into your heart. I can be in any situation I want. It's not good or bad. And then now it's like create cool stuff, and you know, have fun and enjoy being this body. Man, yeah, what a joy to have you on. And Malin, any kind of conclusive words for any listeners out there? Any final words?
Yeah, I think for anyone that's feeling lonely or isolated, especially on their journey of awakening, because I think I've always felt lonely my whole entire life through grief, through non-connectedness, right? It was only until I discovered that I have everything I need. And when I'm connected to myself through meditation, through any kind of ritual that I do at least once or twice a day, I know I'm here. I'm everything I need. Everything is complete within me. So it's so good to just connect with yourself. Have a date with yourself at least once a day in the busy lifestyle that you've got, because we have everything we need. Everything is in here in us. And that sounds so cheesy, right? But I kept looking, like even in the awakening process, I was like, I'm so lonely, no one gets me. No, I get me. It's fine. It's all good.
Absolutely. Fuck yeah. And I love that. I mean, have a date with yourself every single day, but she's talking about have a date with your real self.
Yes.
Have a date with your true self every single day. Have a daily practice, something you do every day to connect to this part of you that is
Mm.
badass, that is eternal, that just fucking knows, that is creative, that is enough. And that is, and you are who you've been looking for. Malin, thank you so much for taking the time today. It's a joy to connect.
Thank you so much for having me on. Thank you, Samuel.
All right, go create some cool shit. All right, lots of love.